Hello and welcome to Battlefield 1, Battlefield podcast with real questions and real unfiltered opinions. This podcast is available as an MP3 download so you can listen on the go. If you enjoy this podcast, please like it before you leave. If you don't, you can dislike it, whatever tickles your fancy. If you want to hear more, why not subscribe to the Lanky Soldiers YouTube channel or our dedicated podcast channel. If you have any concerns, questions, comments, or consternations, feel free to leave a YouTube comment or contact us on Twitter. Now make yourself comfortable and enjoy the podcast.
Hello there everyone, casuals and 100 Connells, welcome to the BattlefieldOne Podcast. And before everyone says, yes, I'm wearing a Chelsea shirt, but doesn't matter because Chelsea is crap. They're playing bad. Anyway, back on topic. So, welcome to the BattlefieldOne Podcast, and before we continue, I will ask my crew members to introduce themselves. So, Cyanide.
Hello!
Darky True.
Good evening.
Dr. Scroll.
Hey everybody.
And the guy that always gets high, Pronator.
Grazie miteinander.
The fact that we have a rhyme for that now, it's great. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Are you high?
Sure.
Fair enough. And guys, episode 10. We
Yay.
actually did episode 10.
Woo!
Yay,
We decided
nobody
to
cares.
do 10 of these.
So that's basically
Wow.
more than like 14 hours of us talking about Battlefield. Not including the ones that are not recorded.
Yeah.
So
Imagine.
hope there's gonna be more episodes to come. But yeah, so thank you guys for joining the podcast. We really appreciate. I mean, it's awesome that actually somebody listens to us. Already it's mentioned in the intro, if you don't have the whole time to watch the whole thing, you can always download the audio version of the podcast. Alright, and let's move on. Right, so the first thing that comes is, right, it's a really short thing. Battlefield Hardline Robbery DLC is announced. It's going to be released for 16th of September? Yeah, 16th of September for premium users, and that's kind of it. I mean, if you play Hardline, good for you. Yeah, your new DLC is coming in 3 days. So
If you're premium, it'll be
If you're premium,
2
yeah.
weeks after that if you are not premium.
yeah, two weeks after that is gonna be for everyone. So also, if you're not premium, you're still gonna get seven weapons for free, because Hardline doesn't generate the player base. I mean, it doesn't generate the players. Funny thing, I played Hardline today. I played Hardline today with the mods. Holy crap! I still kind of
Yeah,
enjoy that game.
and that's the thing. If you have Hardline and if you like Hardline but you don't play it because there's nobody to play with, on Saturdays the mods from EA Ireland are going to be doing some sort of little what would you call it? Like
I don't know. Just play Battlefield with the mods. Basically, that's why. Yeah, basically.
kind of like the Friday night Battlefield that
Yeah.
they do with Battlefield 4.
You could call it Saturday Night Hardline.
There you go. You can keep an eye on the Battlefield Twitter page in order to keep updates on when all that comes out and whatnot.
Yeah.
On to that, speaking of a Battlefield event, there's one that was streamed on the official Twitch channel, and Dice Hells did that on a 60Hz server in retail, which would be the first time in retail build that a 60Hz server was going. It's kind of a really big deal because, again, first time retail has seen a 60Hz server, but the event was, I didn't really get a chance to watch it because I was kind of at work. They do these things in the middle of my work shift, so.
No, it was basically an event. People had the chance to join the event, just play together, and that's it. But yeah, 60 Hz is the most important thing. I mean, I realized it's 60 Hz when I heard it in the stream. Oh yeah, we're playing 60 Hz. I'm like, what? I was watching the stream, and this is the first time I heard they actually playing at 60 Hz on retail. So basically, the summer patch is working when it comes to 60 Hz.
And this will just pave the way for getting 60 Hertz eventually rolled out to everybody.
And congratulations to Gert for winning the signed mousepad, who happens to be a BFXP member. Yeah,
Signed my...
a signed mousepad,
yeah,
too, as
basically,
well.
because I have the same mousepad as he has, but he has a signed one, because all the DICE devs are gonna sign it, and basically, his mousepad goes in higher value.
His is going to be framed on the wall.
Yeah,
on the
basically.
computer.
Ever.
Yeah.
But for those of you that don't know what 60 hertz is, it's a higher simulation rate that the servers run at. That basically the physics and everything all runs at a higher rate than what the game runs at now. So things like dying behind cover doesn't happen as often, or not never now.
Wow.
Or if that was too technical for you, 60 hertz equals good.
Yeah.
I think Counter-Strike runs at 60 hertz. That is the standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here you go.
And that'll help with competitive play and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, we said that it would be rolling out to everyone, but I think it may only be for server owners who like ask for it from the server provider, and you may have, I don't know if they're going to charge like higher fees for 60 hertz servers or something, but
Yeah, it'll be.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Depending on like what the results are, they may introduce a new standard tick rate, but not 60, like maybe 40, 45.
Well, it might go one of two ways.
What
It
the
might,
results are.
Might be go
But
for consoles.
maybe they keep 30 and make like 45, like a bit the budget version for like high tick rate.
I don't think it would become like a server option. Maybe it'll be an option for Battlefield 4, but for the next one, it would be just an all across the board. Everything runs at 60 hertz.
Of course.
And and what would probably be found then is that to rent servers in like Battlefield 5 or something in order to pay for the next game, in order to pay for those kind of heavier servers that are needed to run the game at that tick rate. And chances are the next one will be a little bit more demanding of a game, so maybe it'd be an extra $5 to $10 a month for server providers, which I'd personally think is fair in order to help cover the extra hardware and the maintenance that these machines would require in order to run these servers at 60 hertz with 64 players on them plus spectators.
or you
Pay
could just
more to
not
get better
run
streams.
just stop running so many 64-man player servers, man. Especially not on Operation Lockers. Just tone it down a notch.
Honestly,
Stop it!
48 for me. 48 is for me the best number. Personally, I don't mind 64
On most
players.
maps.
Yeah, and more.
Yeah,
snaps.
most maps. Yeah.
Some maps
but
it's still a snore fest with 48 players, and it's like Parasol, for instance. That game that map is so much better with 64
it's not bad
players.
for 48 players. It's not bad.
It still had a couple of games where it's just like
Silk Road. I might
snore.
take Silk Road. Silk Road is not really good enough for 48. So
Yeah.
I think Silk Road needs the maximum numbers you can have. But discount large maps. I think 48 is a good number for Conquest Large, my opinion. Right. Let's move on. Dusting. All right. So some people don't know what dusting is, and I realized that. Yeah, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. Some people don't know what dusting is. So can somebody explain what dusting is in Battlefield?
It's when you shoot at a vehicle normally, and you see the bullet hit, but it doesn't do damage, and it just the vehicle just seems to be unaffected.
In
And so
layman's,
it creates a cloud of dust. That's why it's called dusting, because you see it hit and it kicks up dust, but nothing happens.
in layman's terms as to why it's happening, the server sees you in a completely different place from where the client, which you're shooting at, is actually at. And the faster that the person and or vehicle is moving, the worse that it is. So jets move at a very fast rate of speed, therefore they have higher chances of dusting. If an infantry player was literally zipping across the map at the same rate that what a jet was, you'd see the exact same symptoms shooting an assault rifle at an infantry player.
Yeah.
Basically, whatever you see is not what you actually see, because the animation is a bit late compared to what.
It's all tied
is.
into latency and what ping is
Yeah, the
between
latency too.
you and
Yeah.
the server and the person that you're shooting at and at the question in time.
But anyway, to the big issue at hand, or whatever, recently after the summer patch, dusting got really bad for jets, and then now Chris from Battle Nonsense recently made a video explaining what he thinks was causing the dusting, and DICE has confirmed that the incorrect value, I forget what it was. What was it?
Frame time
FHG.
history or something?
Yeah, frame time history. That's what it was. Frame time history, which is like, it's a value that tells how, like, how late a hit would have to be in order for the server to count it. Like
It's like a buffer.
if you're, yeah,
And right now,
It-
the
it-
buffer is far too wide for fast-moving vehicles.
Well, no, it is. Well, it's
It's
more
too-
like.
Well, no, it's
too
far too
narrow.
narrow for
It's too
fast-moving
narrow.
vehicles.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. It's bad wording. It's far too narrow.
it's a
Bas-
very like kind of.
It would have to be a calculation based on the speed, the Mac. Something would have to be calculated based on the speed of the vehicles, and then that buffer would have to be set accordingly to that.
Well, they
is what
want
Chris
it.
basically pointed out and said.
Yeah.
I mean,
So, but-
ideally, you would have two values. You'd have one for infantry or slow-moving vehicles, and then you'd have another for fast-moving vehicles like jets. Because with jets, you want to have more lax rules for more lax value for determining whether it was a hit or not. But with some infantry, if you had a lax value, then you'd be getting shot around corners all the time. So you want
Yeah,
a narrower value for infantry.
So basically, yeah, jet guys are not happy. They can't shoot
Well,
jets.
I just want to say I was talking to. I was like in the group that's testing the dusting, and I think David said that they were. I think they was like looking at whether they can delta patch it. So what they do is they patch the servers, and then I think the servers may tell the client to use a different frame time history or whatever. I'm not sure whether it's like where the issue currently sits. Like, is it entirely the server or is it a shared between the server and client? But basically, I think they think that they can do a delta patch, so they can patch the servers, and then it hopefully will fix the issue. It should be rewritable by the server, but
And this
there's
would mean
always a
that
chance it can't be. What?
And this would mean that we wouldn't have to wait all the way until the fall patch necessarily.
So I don't know when it's going to happen. It could happen like next week.
Yeah, well, Julian said it's gonna be this Tuesday.
Yeah,
Oh, excellent.
Hopefully.
I heard.
That'd be
That's-
awesome.
Yeah, that's what Julian said on Twitter. And whoever doesn't know, Julian is the DICE developer. But yeah, he said it's gonna be fixed on Tuesday. That's what he said on Twitter.
Fingers
But-
crossed, people.
Yeah. So anyway, there's not gonna be no like patches or something like that. They're just gonna update the servers, and that's not
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah,
affect
basically
you
a
on your
hotfix.
end. Yeah, it's not gonna.
just
It's not gonna.
gonna
affect-
be a server downtime, probably 1-2 hours again.
Maybe.
But anyway, moving on. Community map
community map.
officially in the alpha stage, and alpha stage meaning that it's pretty much. Now I don't want to say it's done, but it's pretty much now just final polishing, optimizations, a lot of bug finding and fixing and animation checks and shit like that. So at
Just
any rate,
one step closer to being released.
one step closer to being done, which is great.
Fun thing. Talking about the community map, was it today? Yeah, today. I watched Birdu's video about the community map. He made a video about the community map. I think it's called, was it Community Map Chaos? Basically, it's just him playing without the HUD and adding some spectator footage into the video. And you know what? It's a great map. You know what? Let's be honest. As a community create map or whatever, it's a great map in my opinion. I mean, and they actually always added tanks back into the community map. So I don't know why they added tanks back to the community map, but I enjoy it because I'm a tank guy. But anyway, right. So game modes that confirmed for the community map are really simple. These are more. There are more game modes in this map than Zawad Graveyard shit. So we got Conquest Large, Conquest Small, Domination, TDM, two different layouts, Gunmaster, two different layouts, Squad TDM, two layouts, Obliteration, Squad Obliteration, Rush, Chainlink, and Capture the Flag. These are the game modes that will be in the community map. But of course, we're still in alpha stage. If one game mode doesn't really work properly, like it doesn't really feel right, like
It
right
doesn't
now.
play well.
Yeah, it doesn't play well or something like that. Like Rush right now. I mean, we all play Rush. It doesn't feel good right now. There's only three stages for that Rush right now still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rush is not really enjoyable right now. But hopefully they're gonna fix it with a little bit more updates. Also, I was talking about the capture the flag because there's no source. Because I made a thread on Reddit saying, because I saw the capture the flag layout, because they're using the same ghost town as any other game mode, which is domination, TDM, all that crap. And I kind of want to use the whole map, but DICE developers say like he want to make a little bit different because all the capture the flag games that we have in retail right now are really heavy, vehicle heavy. So
That is like the players that will hop on the ATV or quad bike, go get the flag, and then they get back. It's all with the quad bike. They just run it up,
Yeah,
run it
it's
back.
yeah.
It's not like people running through the forest to go get the flag and then running all the way back. And they want to focus it more on like that infantry aspect.
And
Mm.
what is the layout? Like,
It's
where are
the same as
bases?
domination. It's the same as domination.
Yeah, well, domination doesn't have bases.
No,
okay,
it's just going right straight down that line
It's
of
the
houses.
same zone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So-
going from south to north. So you go one flag next to the temple and one
And the other
flag
thing,
next to the D flag. What is it?
and the other
What?
thing, as I understand it, is that area of the map is like the most polished right now, and so that's kind of
Yeah.
why they want to put it
I
in
don't
that
know.
area.
I
Well,
would
basically, in
like
essence-
a flip chain link layout. Like, give me delta to alpha. Basically, delta and alpha as the basis.
Yeah, but that's gonna be chain link again.
I mean, you
pretty
can't
much
with
the
map layout.
flag.
You have to.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I would like to see like capture a flag only on foot. Okay,
The
but
thing
yeah,
is,
make
the thing
it
is,
a bit bigger than a domination map.
the thing is with map layout, you have to, like, as we found out, like with Rush, or Lanky would know with Rush, the layout that he thought would work, the one they didn't really seem to work very well at all. And I mean, if you're gonna just try and just look at a map from like a tabletop perspective and say the MCOMs should go here or the flag should be here or whatever, I mean, you can do that, but you won't really know how it will play until you actually get into the game and try it.
I mean, you played it against level cap X Factor and what's his name, Matimio. So-
Yeah, they were on that. They did some sort of thing or whatever, and
Well,
they
you just
got a lot of people on there to play Russian, so that provided a good kind of example. I guess you'd say a good example of how Rush would be on the maps, because there was a full like 64 players,
yeah, like 50 plus or something like that.
something like that, and like almost every time, I only think out of like 10 games, I think only 2 times the attackers made it all the way through. Otherwise, the defenders stopped them at the first NCOMs.
Again, 64. I mean, it's kind of easy to defend when you have 64 players.
Yeah.
Need a lot more input, a lot more people in order to join in on CTE and test these games modes out. Most definitely.
Oh yeah. And why wouldn't you? I mean, it's the version of Battlefield that works more. Let's be honest. It does.
It's the most stable version of Battlefield out there
And
right
yet-
now, ladies and gentlemen.
And that shouldn't be confusing, because I know you think, oh, it's a testing version, it's got to be more broken. No, it isn't, because you see, when something breaks in CTE, it'll be fixed within a week or something. You know, it can be fixed at any point. So what tends to happen is, yeah, things get broken in CTE and then they get fixed. Whereas something happens, like, you know, something gets fixed if something gets broken in Battlefield, and a lot of the times the things that get broken aren't part of CTE, which is really strange. But you know, they can't get updated as fast a lot of the time. Hopefully dusting will be a different issue, and that's great. But yeah, play CTE. It works.
And speaking of more input, the community map name vote is finished, and now the top 3 have been selected: Operation Outbreak, Harrow Falls, and Ruins of Harrow.
I still can't say Harrow.
I'm gonna pronounce that like Harrow from now on.
Oh,
Harrow!
Oh, hello there.
Operation
Didn't they,
Harrow!
Didn't they already say Operation Outbreak is the name?
Yes,
They just have to run it through.
No,
they have
it's
to run
already
that
there.
through legal.
Yeah, well,
Say
it's, yeah,
Haru.
it did.
it's not official, but yeah, they're
No,
right.
somebody said it did already. It went through the legal team.
Oh,
Well, they're putting it through, so yeah, that's probably going to be the name.
Operation
Outbreak.
Outbreak, that's the official name for sure.
Well,
But still can't say
maybe we'll
Harrow.
call it.
Harrow.
Maybe we'll be right, maybe we won't. But I'm still gonna call it Harrow. Oh, Harrow!
Oh, hello. Oh, how the Operation Outbreak.
Oh,
What's wrong? You don't like the word Operation?
I don't like Operation Outbreak.
I think that's the best map name we had.
I-
Okay. Wait. Give me a second.
it doesn't really matter though.
Well, it's only a name. All
I
right.
don't know.
wait.
People are gonna call it the community map or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
look at Metro. I hardly ever call it Metro. I just I
What do you
call
call
it
it?
Operation Clusterfuck.
Okay. True story.
Can we just get Dustin Hoffman and Rene Russo in order to make a cameo somewhere if we call it Operation Outbreak? Can we find somewhere in the budget, even if it's just like an Easter egg? Because that would just be too sweet.
Here's the thing. I'm looking at the results
No.
of the community map
No one knows.
name
Okay.
results. 926 people voted for Return to the Monkey King Falls.
Which is stupid because we've never been to Monkey King Falls before. If this was called,
We had to have been there in the first place in order to establish everything. Therefore
Exactly.
We're returning. So shh. It's a story we haven't heard yet. They're doing it like Metal Gear. We're doing the later half of the story, and then like when things get better, we'll go back and do the previous half because somehow that makes sense.
I think we should have called it Battlefield 4 and the Temple of Doom.
Dice in the Oh no, Battlefield 4 and the Temple of Dice.
Temple of Dice. Wait, there was one Sun Gokong Falls. So basically Son Goku. Son
I just-
Gokong.
Well, leave a comment what you think the name should have been.
But it's not gonna change anything though. So you will be wasting your time if you ask me.
Well,
Unless you
anyway,
love to use fantasy.
yeah.
Alright,
Well, anyway.
moving on.
Let's run through some air gameplay changes quick.
Alright, that's you. I can't really do anything
Yeah,
about
you
because
guys
I don't
have
fu-
all the fun in the world with that one.
Well, I'll just run through like kind of some of the less important stuff, and then we'll get to the big stuff.
Yeah, Squirrel flies jets, just saying. So we don't know. I drive tanks. Ray, I have no idea what the hell you do, Ray.
I'm a goddamn infantry player. Screw you.
Fine.
Well, anyway,
Dark is the infantry scrub lord playing only locusts.
I don't
Anyway.
play only lockers.
I play infantry on all the maps.
Anyway, moving
well
on.
then.
Moving on.
With helicopters, they had to remove the speed inheritance. What's that?
Who's Ian?
I think that's Predator walking home.
Is he walking
No.
or eating?
Dude, I'm at home.
What the hell does that sound like? Sound like you're crunching something.
There's a Skype ghost.
How about we just edit it out and then continue on with what we were saying?
Yeah, no.
Anyway,
Nike's too-
moving on.
Nike's
Moving
too
on.
lazy to edit it out.
Yes, because because last week Ray's mic failed, so I had to edit his fucking voice into his section. So basically,
no,
I had
that
to
wasn't
fix the
my. That
audio.
was my mic. That was Skype being a stupid whore because of stupid auto leveling crap with
I don't
stupid
give a shit.
stupidity and stupid
Something
stuff.
failed. Something failed.
And there goes the profanity.
Air gameplay changes.
Damn. Anyway, I'm not gonna edit
Please
any
don't
more
ban
mistakes.
us on
I'm not
this
gonna.
lock.
I'm not gonna
Hey,
edit
gameplay
any more
changes.
mistakes.
Nike,
Anyway.
yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
There
Okay,
were
yeah,
a lot of aircraft changes and a lot of stuff that happened
Well,
with aircraft
yeah.
on this latest patch for CTE.
Yeah. And
I mean-
what I can say about the passive radar, they're not really viable. Like you pre-fire 2 missiles, then lock on. You making basically the missiles do about like 40-45 damage. So you get them down to around 10, and then you just finish them off with the gun. And you can really easy finish off choppers with one strafe like that.
Yeah.
And well, what we should say is that like, I mean I'm not sure how is the damage like between the man pads and vehicle missiles, because the man pads will now do 55 damage, so basically it's a 2-shot kill. And I'm not sure about that change, honestly.
I mean, I think to anyone who's like listening about all these air gameplay changes and getting worried, the best thing that you can do, I think, is get on CTE and try them out, because, I mean, some changes can sound bad, but then there are other things that are going on that changing things that, like, you know, something can get a damage buff, but it can get a tweak that makes it, like, less easy to use or something. And you know, these things have to be tested out. I think DICE definitely wants to make the air gameplay situation a lot better. Like, I know that Jet guys have got a raw deal for the last 2 big updates. And that's a real shame, because the last update was meant to be good for Jets. We were meant to be fixing... Well, not fix... We were meant to be taking away the 3-1-3 system, which got rolled out too early, and it was going to be taken away because it wasn't finished yet. And I think the fact that it got released too early is what's ultimately probably doomed the change for Battlefield 4, at least. Like, DICE LA wants to do cool stuff with the air gameplay, but some of it was been controversial, and things have happened that are possibly, you know, out. We couldn't necessarily predict them happening, like the dusting issue right now. It just wasn't in CTE, and apparently it happened because during the building of the update, where they basically compile all the changes into something that they send out to the server, something failed, and so the change didn't update, and so it was a failure of the software or whatever, and it wasn't any sort of like intentional screw up or anything. But they want to get stuff done, and I think you need to check. This stuff needs to be tested in CTE, and you can't jump to any conclusions, because, like, just because something sounds more powerful, like the way we play the game can change depending on how things change. So, you know, something might seem OP now, but maybe in a week or two, people will be like changing how they use their countermeasures or whatever, and maybe we'll see different gameplay or whatever, and it'll change the situation. So test. If you have an issue with it, come on CTE, test it, and then comment about it on Reddit. And don't do the other way around. Comment, test first, then comment.
Also, we have to mention, because I just remembered we didn't put it in the notes, Martian General, he asked David Julian about the new jet physics that were implemented by accident into the spring patch, and that's why all the complaints came in. We have to mention that DICE LA scrapped those physics for Battlefield 4, so we're not gonna see those new jet physics in Battlefield 4. But we can pretty be sure that we're gonna see those new jet physics in the next Battlefield game, whatever it's gonna be in the next year.
If DICE LA, well, if the people fixing Battlefield 4 right now are also involved in stuff that's going on in the next Battlefield game, then as long as it's a Battlefield game where you're flying jets and not, say, VTOLs or something, I think there'll be a change. And I don't think that people should fear that change, because this isn't some crazy new system that doesn't work or something. The speed system that we have in Battlefield 4 right now was invented in Battlefield 3, and before that in Battlefield 2, and all the other, like, refractor engine battlefields or whatever. There was a different system, and it's a more authentic system, and I think it works better, and it creates more engaging, like, dogfights, and they certainly look better. And I don't know, like, I see some people who say that they're, like, part of the competitive scene doing dogfights, and it does often look like it devolves into circling. I'm sure there's more to it than that.
It's
but,
the whole WA. Well, it works. I don't know how the system works. I just know that if I don't spin that much, I'm gonna lose the dogfight. That's how it is from me
personally.
Call it
circle manning.
Yeah.
Circle
I mean,
manning.
yeah.
Because you're
Circle manning,
circling on the manning, and that's all you do.
Yeah. I mean,
circle. You spin me around, baby, right around.
the new system will definitely, like, involve the controlling of speed as part of the skill, but it won't. It will change the balance so that it's not just speed control. It's I know it's not just speed control now. There is maneuvering in that, but it will adjust the balance so it'll be more maneuvering and the speed control will work in a more reactive fashion. So it's what the guy in front of you does, and you have to react to that instead of just aiming for this fixed number. But it's not coming in Battlefield 4, so maybe we shouldn't even be talking about it.
Yeah, it's a whole nother debate to have. Like when if they're even gonna do something like that in Battlefield 5, or if they're even just gonna stick with the 3-1-3 system, we don't know. So I mean,
maybe
it'd be nice. It'd be nice to see a change, but I don't know how the Jet community would handle that.
Yeah. Maybe we should move on to
Below
Alright,
radar.
what's the
But this is the big.
The
Big
big
news
kahuna,
coming
the
out
thing
of
that everybody and their mother who
city.
flies has been screaming about since Battlefield 4 even came out.
Funny thing, it's a fun fact. I can't remember, was it Dice Sweden or something like that? I can't remember who exactly said. But just last year, somebody asked, there were people asking, can we get below radar in Battlefield 4? Dice said no. You're not going to see below radar in Battlefield 4. A year later, hello, below radar, we missed you.
I mean,
because
that's
you're
the
back in
thing.
Battlefield 4.
That's just the thing. A lot of people were asking for this back, and then we got the jet changes in the CTE that were the new physics or whatever. Oh, there's the ghost again. We got the new physics or whatever in the CTE that the jet community didn't really like. They would like their 3-1-3 better, and so they still wanted like below radar instead, or just other stuff back. And now that I think the new physics kind of went the way of the dodo, they decided, well, let's give the jets something that they want, or the jet community and flying community something that they wanted, and so now we have below radar back.
I just want to say that there are some people in the jet community, especially some of the Battlefield 2 veterans, they are super seriously don't want 3-1-3 anymore. They want to change. But anyway, I'm totally biased, man.
Right. So the guys that start in Battlefield 2 or played in Battlefield 2, they don't want the 3-1 system. But the ones that want 3-1 system are started at Battlefield 3.
The people who have played, from my perspective, you can't necessarily speak for everyone because exceptions to the rule. But the people I know who have played Battlefield 2 and Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, they say that they prefer the old Battlefield 2 system. A lot of people I've met who say that they don't want any change at all, they haven't necessarily played the old Battlefield 2 system. I think a lot of people assume it's bad because it's change, and what they really don't want is change. And they're not.
They're already good at keeping their 3-1-3 speed, so they don't want to have to relearn something new.
Yeah, but I don't want to get into it because what's the point? But
well, anyway,
below radar.
Yeah, below radar. It's been enabled for all of the air vehicles. It'll trigger below 25 meters for helicopters and below 50 meters for jets. This will hopefully give jet players or helicopter players some incentive to actually fly low, because right now there's really no reason why you shouldn't just be flying up at 500 feet, dropping JDAMs from up there in that safe area where the AA has a lot harder time hitting you. Now, below radar isn't going to be the same, so BF3 players or people who really wanted it back maybe don't get too excited, but still be excited that's back, of course, but don't get too excited because it will only work against heat seekers from other jets, not from the AA, and passive radar and active radar missiles from everywhere.
Basically, Stingers and Eagles still can lock on you.
Yeah,
if you
Stingers
fly below 25 if you're in a heli and 50 if you're in a jet.
Stingers, Iglas, air mines, and heat seekers on the mobile AA will still be able to lock you at the low altitude.
The Atrium as well.
Yep.
This one also got changed. That's on a side note. Like it got a bit buffed and nerfed. Like I didn't really test it so far, but what I heard is that it's now a real high velocity missile, so it's really fast, but they took the one shot from it. So
Yeah, so now like everybody who flies jets absolutely hates the HVM or helicopters too,
yeah,
because
that
it's
shot more.
it was a one-shot kill, but now it will be not a one-shot kill, but it'll still be the best anti-air. Like it'll be the best man pad still.
Yeah.
This makes me
Well,
sad.
This makes me sad. Personally, you know what? I didn't really fly jets that much in Battlefield 3 or heavies to talk about. I mean, I love the idea that it's actually back in Battlefield 4 because it actually, like I already said, it gives a reason why you can actually fly. I mean, fly below 25 meters in a heli or 50 meters with a jet. It actually gives you a reason to do that now. But at the same time, you're exposed to RPGs, you're still exposed to Stingers and Iglas. I mean, it's
It's a trade-off.
yeah,
That's what it is.
it's
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly more useful when you're more off the fighting area, like we're really in vehicle combat, chopper versus heli or jet versus jet. I
Yeah.
mean,
yeah. I think it gives.
this is where this comes in.
Well, I personally agree with this change because I think it is.
Well,
it
I
actually
think- I
gives
think it-
more. It gives more
getting it-
skill to the I guess. But again, what we call it depends what you call skill.
Well, it adds more to the like jet gameplay. It's just another thing, and I mean, it's not going to be like you have to. It's below radar isn't going to be a thing that you have to equip. It's going to be there no matter what. Like you're always going to have it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it adds something to the gameplay that we didn't have before in Battlefield 4, and even though it's not as powerful as it was in Battlefield 3, because I mean everybody gets it no matter what. I mean I think that's a fair trade-off. It's not as effective as it was in BF3. When BF3 it took up a slot,
No.
gadget
It did?
slot or whatever.
I'm
No,
pretty sure
it was just non-lock. It's just non-lock, like somewhere along like 2/3 of the progress to the first
Well, at least
service
everyone
start,
gets
but
it
It's
as
a
long-
non-lock.
Well,
yeah.
anyway.
But you don't get it from the beginning, like now. But
Well,
Oh, okay, yeah.
I got a question. Wait, so you know all the changes, right? Scroll. Details of detail, right?
What changes? The
Alright,
what?
so all right. Did the attack jet got a? All right. What changes happened to the attack jet, or is it all jets are the same changes?
As of right now, I thought all jets were reverted to the 313 system. They're all the same way they were before, like the spring patch when they screwed up and accidentally put the new system in.
Okay, because I'm talking to No Life right now, to Andre, and he just saw the notes for the podcast, and he said, well, he's not he's 50-50 about it himself about the jet because he has a point of what he said. I mean, all right, I'm just gonna read this. They added more damage to the jets against scout helis, which is true, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but attack jet was designed to be air to ground and not air versus air. So the stealth jet is for dogfighting versus air. So if I remember correctly, that's what they say on the launch. So the attack jet got nerfed into help against ground vehicles, and the attack jet was strong against air too. So why not just nerf the attack jet on air vehicles, but you have damage on ground vehicles, and make the stealth good against air. So
You see, the whole problem with trying to do that is then, I mean, how can you? It's hard to justify, in my opinion. Like, from my view, I just think the whole system of adding two different types of jets was bad. Or maybe not bad, but like, I didn't like it so much. I think they should have kept the Battlefield 3 system where the jets are just jets, and then on Rush you get the attack jet, and on normal Conquest you get the stealth jet.
Yeah,
or
it's always
whatever.
been pretty much it's always just been the multi-role fighters that have always just been out up to this point. Like the ones that can double as the attack jet and that can
I
serve
mean,
like CAS
yeah.
and can do. But now in Battlefield 4, like there's these two different types of air vehicles, and there for jets, and there isn't a separate style of damage system for the guns. But at the same time, how hard is it in order to code the Gauss cannon for DA for the attack jet in order to do more damage against ground vehicles? Because that cannon isn't on the stealth jet. Am I correct?
A variant of it is. It's not.
No,
I mean, here's the thing. The F-35. Now, I know I'm saying in real life. I know it's Battlefield, not real life. But in real life, the F-35 is replacing the A-10.
Yeah.
So I mean,
We could even argue
like
that attack jets in general in this game are just bad, and the only reason why F-35s are here and there's attack jets in the first place is because none of the other factions have a multi-role fighter like the F-35. And we just wanted the F-35 in Battlefield 4 so bad that that was the only way in order to justify its existence.
In all honesty,
why couldn't we? I mean,
yeah, I mean,
I honestly
balance-wise, an FA-80 would have made more sense, like hitbox and VTOL capability. So I don't know why they decided to put the F-35.
I think they could have been. They would have been fine if they would have just had, like the F-18 in just as the only U.S. Jet, or like just the F-35 or whatever, or like as far as the Russians go, have the Su-35 or like the MiG-35 or whatever, something like use, because the Russians do have multi-role fighters. We're not the only ones who have them.
Oh, they do. I mean, yeah, believe me, Russians, they do.
I just think they should have left it the way Battlefield 3 had it.
I think what happened is it's a poor solution to a real problem. I think I was listening to I can't remember what it was, but I was listening to someone talk about it. I think it might have been a DICE developer. This is a historic video now out of date, because it was talking before Battlefield was released, Battlefield 4 rather. And they were saying that they knew they had a problem with the jet gameplay. I think it was probably down to the fact that jets wrecked everything.
They were unbalanced. That was the problem.
Yeah, and so I think the idea that they had was, let's fix the system by creating two jets, one which will destroy all the ground targets but then get killed by air targets, and then we'll make an air targets one that kills other air targets. We'll make one for air that kills air stuff. The idea was to make it like a more fun experience for everyone involved, and I don't think it's worked, because at the moment, I think the most pissed off people profanity again, but anyway, the most annoyed people are the jet guys, because the moment the jet gameplay just isn't as enjoyable. I think the issue, they didn't solve the issue, which is giving ground targets a good way to take on air targets that doesn't end up with everyone getting lock spammed. And I think that's the issue we're still dealing with right now. I think there are good possible solutions, but they are they are next game stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I keep getting this feeling that I come up with new solutions, and then I realize that they've already actually been tried out in Hardline, and it's whoa, Hardline's coming out with some stuff that's actually really clever. It's just in the wrong place. If you could put AA manpads launchers in the back of the MRAPs, Hardline puts the anti-air launchers in the back of cars, but there are cars everywhere, whereas there are less MRAPs. If you put the anti-air launcher in a vehicle, then there are only so many vehicles on the map. So if infantry can't equip manpads, but they can take them out of vehicles, then you've got a limit to the number of anti-air options. And therefore you can have a powerful anti-air option for infantry, but not have so many that the and the air vehicles are just suffering under the constant beep of lock tones.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's important to note that these manpads would be like more like the HVM in that they'd be powerful.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It wouldn't be like the manpads like the Stinger is now, where it takes like 3 hits or 4 hits to take out a air vehicle.
But I think it's a good idea. I just wish they'd had it.
Well, coming back to the jet, I mean, you know what? I kind of have to agree with Andre on this one, because I kind of agree with the idea that stealth jets are against air vehicles, and attack jet is against ground vehicles. In my opinion, it will kind of add more meta game to Battlefield 4. I think more reasoning, I guess. More.
Yeah.
If we have a purpose, each jet had a purpose. Then
the problem is, here's the problem. Okay, you get an attack jet, or let's just look at like a balance or whatever. How much stuff is on the ground? You have all the infantry and like pretty much every other vehicle except for like helicopters and jets. How much stuff is in the air? You have helicopters and jets. So the stealth jet can kill all the air stuff, and then it has nothing to do. Whereas the attack jet can kill like a few helicopters of the other attack jet, because I mean, it's just as maneuverable as the other attack jet, and helicopters it can strafe them, even if it isn't as the gun would be made so it wasn't as powerful against them. And then it can also take out all the ground targets on the map. So I mean, really, you're left with no reason to use the stealth jet other than to take out another stealth jet. But you could just use the MAA for that too. I mean, I think they should have just kept multi-role fighters like the F-18 or Su-35 in.
Yeah, I think they're
all right. But your argument is that if, let's say, all right, we have a good pilot in a stealth jet destroying all the air, and you say there's nothing to do for the air jet to, like, he's just flying around doing nothing. But that's if the jet pilot is really good. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I don't know.
No, it's not if the jet pilot is really good. It's if everyone else in the air is really bad. That's normally what it is.
Yeah, usually that's what it is. Yeah, that's right. And I don't know. But,
so I mean, the thing is,
I want again, but that doesn't really. I still kind of agree with Andre on this one. It's still because again.
Here's the thing. In a system like they have, yes, I completely agree. In the system that they have, that they set up, that they made, that they decided when they laid the cornerstone of building Battlefield 4, that they decided this is how the jet's going to be. I agree. But I think they made the wrong choice of how to implement it. Like, right now, you can't change it. Right now, you have to somehow work with what you have and make it better, or find a way to make it better. But for the next game, I don't think they should go with the system that Battlefield 4 had.
Maybe they could make... I mean, I still prefer the idea of having one jet, but just making it so that the ground has a better system. But maybe they should have made it so that there are 2 jet slots, and you equip what jet you want to spawn in with when you spawn.
Well, the thing is, everybody would just choose the attack jet.
Yeah, and then they'd get wrecked by like a helicopter or something, and then they'd be like...
Unless you have the same number of tanks and air vehicles.
Well, you can't. Well, you normally can't have the same number of ground targets and air targets.
2 tanks, 2 helis.
You have, but the thing is, you also have all the infantry. I mean, are you going to have 64 jets too? And I mean, that just... I mean,
that'd be awesome.
I mean, the thing is, then you separate the like right now. I feel like the air war in jets, like stealth jets, is like completely separated from the ground war. Like, stealth jets rarely seem to interact with the ground at all.
Depends on the pilot.
Well, exactly.
I interact a lot because
like you can try, but I mean, when you can't do, like, it's not worth it. I know people have said, yeah, you can kill a tank in one strafe, but I mean, that's a situational thing. You have it takes planning, on the pilot's behalf to line up for the run, and then it has to go perfectly. You can't have anybody try and lock you or anything like that. It has to work absolutely perfectly, and a lot of times it doesn't.
I'm still gonna go with my idea. I mean, because the reason I see like, what is it? Would be actually a bad thing? Would they actually be a bad thing just because there's one specific role for the stealth jet to work with again?
Because there is, and the reason is because it leaves stealth jet kills the enemy helicopter,
Every air,
and
basically every air.
the 3 enemy, or about like 4 enemy flying vehicles, whereas the attack jet could kill like 3 of those 4 enemy flying vehicles and every other ground thing. And yes,
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Laser guided bombs
nerfed
and attack
against air vehicles.
But if you nerf them against even if you nerfed them against air vehicles, they'd still be able to kill every single ground target. Right now, the system
giving them a purpose to each jet. Yeah.
The system just doesn't work right now.
No, Mikey, because if you have it right now, the attack jet has far more targets than the stealth jet. I mean, you have on like GoMud, for example, you can take out the enemy MAA if you're daring enough. You have like how many enemy tanks, LAV, the mobile artillery if the enemy has it, and then all the enemy infantry.
Would that be a bad thing? Just because the air.
Why would you choose? Why, if you were given the choice, why would you take the stealth jet ever?
Yeah, but that's what Lanky's saying is that what they've done.
I understand as a specific role. Like,
listen, what Lanky's saying is that what they've done is they've given the attack jet, they've given the thing that everyone always chooses, the attack jet, more ability on air targets. So it's made it even more of a choice that people want to have the attack jet because it's even more viable now.
Because the way I read Andres' argument is this: attack jet should be good against ground vehicles, but it won't be that great against air vehicles. The stealth will be a different story. It will be against it will get good against air vehicles, but bad against ground vehicles.
That system doesn't work right now.
Because you have more.
I don't
think you said more infantry, more people to kill and all that. But would be that a bad thing? Would that be a bad thing because the other jet has less to do, but it has a specific role to do?
No, but it doesn't. Here's what happens: you kill all the air targets, and then you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs, and you can't really damage anything on the ground because you're underpowered on ground targets, and there's nothing left in the air, and you got to wait until someone jumps in an air vehicle again.
So yeah, exactly. Would that be a bad thing?
No, but the problem is if you're
because
good.
It's boring.
The problem is just you're a lame ass and choose to use 20mm and heat seekers. So yeah, your problem that you can engage ground targets, in my opinion.
No, but even if you choose, like most of the jet pilots who fly stealth jet, they always pick like 20mm and then laser guided bombs because they can kill the enemy jet with a 20mm fire or even 30mm, but then they use the laser guided bombs, which actually got nerfed against ground.
They make the 30 damage, so
yeah, but they got nerfed in the way that you cannot fire 2 of them at the same time anymore.
Yeah, well, that is a long time, and yeah.
It's just you just have to admit the fact that it's just not a compelling gameplay for a stealth jet user to, you kill all the air targets and then you sat around and you can't really do much. So the idea that you've got to, like, I'm not necessarily saying that the attack jet should be able to dominate everything, but for the stealth jet, like, boxing it into only air stuff, it ends up with protracted periods of doing very little because there's no targets, because you're only good at air targets. So I don't think the current system works.
I just came up with the idea.
Yeah,
when the commander spans their UAV, you get like 100 points for each UAV destroyed drone.
Yeah, but I don't want to include commander as part of the solution because the current state of commander.
Yeah, because if there's no commander on the other side, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's that.
I don't know. The way I see this, the reason I liked Andrew's argument is because I play League and there's like there's a role on on League support. Obviously, it has more to do, but it's a really specific role, and can be one of the most boring roles in League of Legends. But it's one of the most important ones. If you have a great support at the bottom lane, so whoever doesn't play League, if you have a great support and you're a guy that does damage, and you have a great support, there's a big chance you're gonna win the game. So
Yeah.
it's a specific role, definitely one of the most
thing
boring ones
about-
in League, one of the most boring ones I can assure you. But it's a really important role, though.
Yeah, how many players are there in League?
A lot.
So
I think.
So
Wait, what?
like you mean like on the plane?
No, I'm saying in a round, how many people
5 versus
play?
5.
So, like, every individual's action is important, whereas in Battlefield, I get the feeling that people feel that, you know, what their personal game is completely separate from the win and lose. So, like, if you're a support player in that game and you support, your team wins, brilliant, you've done a good job and you get reward for that. Whereas the air gameplay side is sort of the reward is killing stuff, and there's less of the attachment to the winning and losing. So, I don't think it's it is as you can't compare those two because it's more rewarding in that 5v5 sort of game, whereas in Battlefield you can be the best in the air, but if the team on the ground's still playing like crap, you know, it doesn't matter. So
Well, I could talk about League for ages now. I can actually say
Yeah.
that one guy can carry the whole team, to be honest. But anyway, that's a different
yeah,
topic. But that's a different topic. But I don't know.
you can't carry the team in a stealth jet because you can't cap points.
I
You
mean,
kind of can carry an attack jet
if
right
you have
now.
the F-35,
You can-
Oh well,
you
okay,
can't.
okay.
You kind of
And-
can.
no.
It's possible.
F-35
possible.
VTOL does not count because if you fly the F-35 in VTOL, you will get shot with an
Yeah.
RPG right away.
It's possible.
So that doesn't count.
yeah,
possible, but
yeah,
it's
but
not.
you can cap flags. If,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Nobody's around there and
Technically.
shit.
But yeah, I think on this point we should just say the current. I personally feel that the stealth attack jet system isn't working, and the next game should
Well,
try
the
something.
problem is, the thing is, right now, it's in the real world, airplanes cost a lot of money, and so what they do is instead of trying to design, okay, we'll design this plane that can only do this one role of anti-air, and then we'll design this plane that can only do air to ground. Now, what modern military defense contractors people do is they design a plane that can go anti-air and anti-ground depending on what weapons you attach or what weapon systems you deploy on it.
Yeah, I just think as far as the whole damage change on helicopters, I think Lanky's commenting on it from a. You said you don't fly jets that much, didn't you?
Yeah, I look at the game from a comparative side. I mean,
Well, I think
I want
yeah.
every player to have a role.
But
So
I mean-
that's the way I see it.
I'm just saying,
Well,
like,
here's the thing.
if you don't play jets, then you can't know how underpowered attack jets were versus helicopters before. Maybe it was like firing I don't know, peas at a tank or something.
That was before
Yeah.
the autumn patch last year, or because the last
I
time
don't know.
Because right now the way I see the attack jets, when I use the attack jet, I never use a stealth jet because I find that stealth jet crap. So,
And-
Well, there's your answer.
Exactly.
yeah, so
So
I
why
want to
don't
give.
you?
It has to have a purpose, some sort. The way I see it, or remove it
Okay,
entirely.
here's the thing. What they could do in Battlefield 4 that they probably aren't going to do is they could make it so that maybe other than the cannons, all of the attachments or whatever that you can get on, or I don't know how to explain it, because in Battlefield 4 or 3 you only had heat seekers. You didn't have the active radar and the passive radar. And you can't really put those on an attack jet. If you gave more of the attack jet things to the stealth jet and then maybe gave some the cannon differences to the attack jet or something like that, you could maybe change up make it a little better, but really I think the best thing to do would just be in Battlefield 5, just make it so there's only like one jet category or something that you can kind of change stuff out. And then make it so that when you play Rush, you get, or even make it so that when you play Conquest, you get the stealth jet, but the stealth jet can put all of the attack jet stuff on too. So like the F-18, and you can attach whatever you want. But then in Rush mode, you get the attack jet, and you can only have the attack jet stuff.
Yeah.
No, it's really difficult. But I did love the idea in Battlefield 3 that there was like only one jet on a specific game mode, like Rush the A10 was, which is really different. I don't know, it's a really different subject. I mean, for example, Silent, do you got any input on that?
Nope, I don't fly much.
Fair
Good
enough.
man.
Good man. Let's remove jets entirely. We don't need jets.
I think
We don't need
No,
jets.
no. I'm not saying that jets
Nah,
don't
I'm
have
just-
their place in Battlefield and they're not
Just
needed
kidding.
because
I'm just kidding.
God knowing as an infantry player, it's
I love
nice to
jets.
have good people who can fly in the air because you just spot a tank and then if you got a good pilot in the air, it's just gone instantly, and I don't want that taken away ever from this game.
Remember
but the
Graf?
jets do need to kind of Graf and
Graf
JP.
was an awesome. Holy crap! He was an awesome jet pilot. He basically won the game. Most of the games he won for us is just because of him. He won the game for
Well,
us.
there was Graf and there was also JP too. JP was another one who
I haven't heard from him for a
you
while.
just spot a target. He's been doing his own thing, but they just spot it and just gone instantly. So
Yeah.
that's an ability from pilots I don't want to have taken away. But that being said, they need to be balanced against each other a little bit better. I mean, attack jets, unless it's a very skilled pilot, I don't think an attack jet should have the ability in order to shoot down a stealth jet like that easily. In some cases, that I've seen it to be in order to do.
Yeah,
You should be able to shoot down helicopters.
Like an IDF guy or somebody, then and he's in the attack jet and I'm in the stealth jet. I still stand no chance. They still cannot fly me. Even if
I mean,
they
a lot of it depends on the pilot.
Yeah, I mean, like an IDF guy. I mean,
it's a really steep skill. It's a big skill gap.
which could
Yeah.
be there's skill gap, and then there's like
The
there's
learning curve.
skill width, and then the skill gap, like between being a noob and then being. There's like the jump where you have to overcome get a certain skill, and then you're actually semi decent. Like, I think an issue with the jets that we have at the moment is it's a very steep jump to get to the even half decent mark. You've got to put in a lot of work and a lot of dying before you get even slightly good. I think that needs to be cut down. And, I think the 3-1-3 system doesn't help, but
Yeah, all I
don't-
needed to know was that.
yeah.
I saw some crazy videos when it comes to 3-1-3 system. Holy, it's just wow. Realism, guys, realism. We need more realism in Battlefield, like Battlefield 2.
Well, I mean, in real life, there is an optimal turning speed, but the optimal turning speed depends on your altitude and like a bunch of other factors too.
Speed, weather, humidity.
It isn't the way that it is in Battlefield 3 or 4. It's not just like you hit a certain speed and suddenly you can just turn really fast, tiny.
I mean,
type
we
of-
don't really have like air physics. I mean,
Well, no, you
would
can't.
think.
You can't.
I mean, you would think like you're playing on Storm on Paracel and you smoke. You toss a smoke grenade and like the whole smoke would just like be blown away. But no, it just stands there.
Well,
yeah,
but you can't
it's-
get that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah,
It's super.
But I mean, yeah, like if you get at this point, then I'll probably just like wow.
yeah,
Like,
but
if,
I mean,
if the jets are actually like interacting with air, and this is how the flight is like handled.
I just want to say, like, to any jet guys that are listening, please get in CTE and test stuff. In any way you can. Like, if it's Xbox One CTE, fine. PC CTE, great. I don't mind. Just get in CTE and test it, because here's the thing, like, normally what's going on most of the time in CTE servers is that there are maybe like 1 or 2 servers that actually run Conquest Large or something. And, on there you've only got 4 jets in total. And, the kind of, like, if someone... I've asked people to come in and test jets before, and their experience normally is they jump in the jet and the guy who's in the other jet is just some random person who isn't necessarily dedicated to jets. And so it's not really a challenge. What we need, if we want good jet gameplay, and I think Dice LA does want good jet gameplay, and that's why this update includes so much stuff. To get that stuff, we need testing. So, just play CTE.
But do it now before it's going to come out for the next Battlefield.
Yeah. You need to do it now, and you need to get your opinions across, and you need to get your input in there, because once it's in, if it ever gets taken out, which is not guaranteed, then it's going to take time, and it's kind of too late by then. You've got a way to stop bad things coming in if they are really bad. And it's called going on CTE, testing it, and then giving feedback. So do it.
So
just do it.
Yeah, and on that note, the more
Just
people
do
that
it.
test, the more people that input, the better things can be. So on that note, I think we're just gonna draw things to a close for the night.
Yeah, you've been quiet the whole podcast.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. You guys have been rambling about jets, and I just don't know that much about it. So I've just been kind of just enjoying the discussion going on about the aircraft and all the whatnot.
You know what I think for the next part we should have some sort of like I don't know, let's say 90 seconds with Ray or something like that. 90 seconds with Cyanide or something like that. And then you talk about random stuff.
Yeah, I'll just randomly rant for about 10 minutes.
I think that's what we need.
Yeah,
For the podcast, because we kind of end like, oh yeah, we just finished talking about the topic. See ya, guys. We'll talk about that later. But I think we should have that something. I don't know. But anyway, how long have we been rambling about?
About 70 minutes.
Yeah.
70 minutes. Holy crap. So that's actually quite good. But yeah. So whoever listened to our podcast till the end, thank you very much. We are really appreciated, whether it be audio version or the actual video. If you actually watch the whole video, yeah, you're MVP. So yeah, thank you guys for actually watching, and we really appreciate it. I mean, it's awesome that actually somebody listens to us. So if you have any suggestions for the podcast, any topics, anything, or could be negative feedback or positive feedback, anything, let us know, because you can always contact us on YouTube or Twitter, whatever. It's not that hard. And on that note, we're gonna end this. Wait, what?
If you like it, share it, please. Anyway.
Definitely share it, yes.
Share with everyone else.
Yep.
I mean, I think it's because that's what we want. We want discussions with everyone. We want discussions with everyone. I mean, we want feedback from everyone. We want start discussion. That's what we want to do. That's what we started this podcast to begin with.
And
we
even
want
if
to
you
talk
don't
to everyone,
like it, share
Anyway.
it. Like, just say, like, look at those fools there. Just, if you hate it, share it even more.
Yeah, share it, whatever. That's what we encourage. But yeah, anyway, so that's gonna
Thanks
end.
for listening.
Yeah, thanks guys for listening, and say goodbye, my crew members.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Good night.